What if you could heal any ailment just by changing your thoughts? Well, I'm here to tell you that you can. And not only in this video are we going to dive deep into how that is possible, but I will also present ways for you to be able to incorporate that into your own life so that you understand how to make it happen for yourself. And not just, some far off abstract concepts, but very practical approaches for you to implement into your life today. And at the very end of this video, I'm also going to share with you a way in which you can use quantum frequencies in order to initiate some physical healing within the physical body. But just like everything else that you receive from me across all my videos and everything, I do not want you to believe anything that you hear in this video, because then you're just going to be stuck on relying on whether what I'm saying is true or not. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that with anything. Don't believe anything that anyone says, especially me. But find ways to incorporate it into your life so you can create an experience for yourself. That is how you generate your own knowledge, because the difference between believing something and knowing something is experience. So create an experience for yourself, generate your own knowledge, continue to create experience for yourself so you can know what is really true or not. And now that is the universal law of believing and knowing, also known as the universal law of manifestation. And we'll kind of dive a little bit into that, but mainly we're going to focus on the universal law of cause and effect. Your thought is the cause of your experiences, and the manifestation of those thoughts is the effect. And this is universal. These 13 universal laws are universal because they apply to anyone, anywhere, at any time. And this is not just, something new. This is ancient knowledge ingrained into every culture around the planet, ingrained into every holy scripture. I mean, you can go check out the Bible. It says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Whatever you think at your core, that is what you will become. In the Dhammapada, it talks about our life is shaped by our mind. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. I mean, it's plain and simple. It can't be any more plain. This is showing you that our thoughts hold all of the power. Now, people talk about astrology and your zodiac, and here's what your sun sign is, and here's what your moon sign is, here's what your rising sign is, here's your Mercury sign, here's how you communicate. Here's you're in a Saturn return. Oh my God, Mercury retrograde. But none of these things actually hold any power over you. You hold all the power within your thoughts. This is why it is very important to learn how to control your mind and control your thoughts. Otherwise, however your mind is programmed is going to be in control of what you experience. Now, don't get me wrong, the zodiac and everything has strong influences, but it's just like the wind behind your sail. You can go out on an ocean and the winds are only blowing, and the trade winds are only blowing in a specific direction. But if you know how to navigate the winds and use that influence, you can go anywhere that you want. Your astrological influence may be pushing you in a particular direction, maybe trying to influence you into doing something. But with enough willpower, your thoughts will be the final determination of what you experience and who you become. And this isn't even just a metaphysical concept, a spiritual concept. Metaphysics, meta means beyond. So it's what's beyond the physical. This isn't just something abstract that is out there. Physical science, modern science has proven this time and time again. The placebo effect. They have to have a control in almost all studies because of the placebo effect, because your mind will do it for you. They'll give this group a medicine and they'll give this group not the medicine, because they have to determine how many people will just make themselves whole again without any other influence other than changing their thoughts, having a belief, because a belief is just a thought that you continue to think. So they have to have that barometer to be able to tell how many more the medicine is actually affecting. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have that, you might think, oh man, this medicine is 80% effective. But if 60% of people without getting any medicine were able to do it through the placebo effect, through shifting their mind, changing their thoughts, then really the medicine is only like 20% effective. Another thing that we're going to be talking about is the difference between the mind and the brain. I have another video on this, so check it out. The mind is different than the brain. Your thoughts are within your mind. Your brain is just the hardware that is in control of the body and the mechanics of the body. You know what I mean? But the brain also is affected by this. You can evidence that through neuroplasticity. There's a Dr. Lazar from Harvard that did a study on this, like how meditation can increase the density of the gray matter within your brain. Just by meditating, you have more substance within your brain. As you gain more awareness of the substance of your mind, you will increase the substance of your brain. You can also rewire neural pathways. Neural pathways are not actually connected. There's a space between them where the electricity fires off, but those neural pathways can still branch off and reconnect in other ways. So no matter what kind of brain ailment that you may have, it can be rewired, it can be reconfigured. Just like you can go into a computer and rewire and reconvert and update the hardware, so you can do with your own physical body the most advanced computer within the known universe. But it all begins with the mind. I mean, that's why ailment, the suffix ment, means mind. So any ailment is something that is ailing your mind, a thought that is creating this illness, this illness, this dis-ease, this disorder. So you have to reorder, rearrange these thoughts in order to create the healing and wholeness. A lot of people talk about, well, it's in my DNA, it's in my genetics, it's in my genes, it's in my family. It may be in your family, but it's not necessarily an effect of the genes and the DNA, because through epigenetics, another modern scientific proof of this universal law of cause and effect, that your environment has far more influence on how your DNA and your genes activate than the actual genes themselves, because your DNA has like 16 different ways it can advance through any great grandparent. You can activate any one of those genes as far as hair color, eye color, all of these things. One of my favorite books, The Holographic Universe, details how people with split personality disorder, when they can shift into having different eye color, different hair color, different allergic reactions. You know what I mean? Different scars will appear and disappear within an instant, because that's how rapid their mind is shifting. If you want to read that book, I got the link in the description. But if you want to have these rapid physical changes, you also have to change and shift your mind just as rapidly. But how do we do this? It's one thing to know, oh, okay, my thoughts are creating my reality, but how is this happening? I'm sure any of us can look at different things within our life and see how our thoughts led us to this experience. Right now, you're watching this video. One, you had a thought, let me open up this app. Or maybe there was a notification that brought you here. Two, you clicked on this video, or you came across this video. But then you had another thought to stay here and continue watching and listening. You know what I mean? And thus you're here. One day you had a thought to get a cell phone, to get a new cell phone. You know what I mean? Thus you have a device and ability to perceive this video. You know what I mean? Every single thing in your life, the job that you have, there was a moment where you had a thought and imagined yourself having that job before you had it. Maybe you got a promotion within your job. There was a thought. Maybe you don't work for somebody else. Maybe you have your own business, but there was a thought that preceded that caused you to make that choice to create that for yourself. You know what I mean? You're in a relationship with somebody. You had a thought in order to create that relationship. Maybe you're not in a relationship with anyone anymore. You had a thought to end that relationship. Everything within your life, the clothes that you wear, there was a thought that created the idea of you to buy that piece of clothing, for you to need another piece of clothing. The clothing itself, there was a thought that someone had to create a manufacturer warehouse to create that shirt, and that design, that brand, all of these things. Every single thing, you can look around your entire life, and there was a thought that was at the inception and creation point of that thing. Every single quality that you possess within your own personality, there was a thought that created that, whether you are conscious of it or not. Now, that is the main key. Are we conscious and aware of the thoughts that are creating our reality, or are we unconscious and unaware of what's occurring? Now, for a lot of people who are like, oh man, what's this guy talking about? Oh, I created this. You know what I mean? That's probably because the majority of the things that they're looking at to compare were created by unconscious thoughts, unaware thoughts. How many you have what 10,000 thoughts a day at minimum? Let's see. How many thoughts a day does the average person have? Let's see. How many thoughts a day does the average person have? Yeah, 60 to 70 thoughts a day. You typically have 3,000 different thoughts every single hour. That's a lot of thoughts. So how is your subconscious mind going to know which one to manifest for you? Because that's the duty of the subconscious mind, to manifest the thoughts and desires of the conscious mind. I mean, I lay it all out in the Structure of Mind book that I just dropped in January 2024. The conscious and subconscious minds work together to manifest your reality. The thoughts of the conscious mind are incepted into the subconscious mind, and they impregnate the womb of the subconscious mind, where the thoughts then gestate, and just like the egg within a woman receives millions of sperm. There's only one that actually makes it in and gestates into a human. Just like you have 60 to 80,000 thoughts every day, there are only certain concentrated ones that the subconscious mind takes hold of and actually grows. And so how do we ensure that the thoughts that we want to manifest are the ones that are created and come to fruition? Again, this is through conscious awareness. This is why the Keys to Success course is the very first course that I created, because it is there to teach you how to strengthen and build your concentration and your willpower. That way you can identify which thought you do want to manifest, and you can hold your attention upon it, because energy flows where the attention goes. And the more energy, the more attention you hold upon that thought, then the more energy that will flow into that thought, thus gaining more density within that thought form, within that chitta, that mind substance will build and build. As it gains more density, it will descend and fall from the mental level down into the astral levels, down into the emotional level. Your thoughts determine your emotions, and your emotions will determine your physical reality. That's why a lot of people, when you hear them talk about manifestation, they talk about feeling, incorporating your feelings. How does this visualized image make you feel? I mean, they talk about visualized images because that's what a thought is. I mean, if we want to understand how our thoughts create our reality, we need to understand what a thought is. A thought is an image. I mean, think about the breakfast that you had today. You can describe it because it's an image within your mind. But it's not just a visual image. It's a moving image. It's a whole image. You know what I mean? You can see it. You can smell it. You can taste it. You know, what's the dream car that you want to have, or the dream home that you want to have? You can describe it because you can see it within your mind. A thought is an image. I mean, like I say all the time, think of a balloon. You can put in the comments what color the balloon was, because it is an image that you see within your mind when you think about it. So we need to understand the images within our mind. And if we can have more control over our attention through concentration and willpower, then we have better abilities in determining what thoughts are gaining more energy and attention and what thoughts are building in density. Because our mind is like a garden. It's like, that's why the earth represents subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is like the fertile earth. You know what I mean? We can go and plant a seed. This seed of wholeness and healing is what I want to manifest for myself. But if I plant it in a garden of weeds, do you think that one seed is going to grow? No, I need to also remove the weeds, the negative thoughts, the thoughts of disbelief, the thoughts that are creating the disorder and dis-ease within our lives. We have to also remove. So we need to have more awareness when those thoughts are coming into our life out of the 10,000 times. You know, like if you think about when you do get sick, are you thinking to yourself, I'm healing, I'm getting better, my body's healing? Or most likely, we usually think, oh man, I'm getting sick. I'm coming down with something. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm getting sick. Talking to somebody, I can't do nothing. I'm sick. You know what I mean? And that thought is what you're verbalizing. You know what I mean? So you may only verbalize it 3 or 4 times a day, but out of that 60, 70,000 thoughts, 80,000 thoughts every single day, how much is that illness and ailment being fed into your mind versus the healing and wholeness being fed into your mind? This is why I made that video about affirmations don't work. You know what I mean? Because if you say an affirmation 3 or 4 times a day, maybe 10 times a day, maybe 100 times a day, that's not going to have much effect when you're having 80,000 thoughts in total. I mean, I tell people to do a minimum of 1,000, but ideally strive for 5,000 times a day to say that thought, that affirmation, turn into a mantra. People lose their mind 1,000 times, 5,000 times. Well, you're having 80,000 in the day. 5,000 sounds like that's a drop a drop of water in the bucket. And so it's very important to do that because that's how you're going to have an effect. That's how you're going to have a change. That's how you're feeding and watering and getting sunlight to that seed plant that's just now sprouting, that you cleared space for. You know what I mean? As you have more attention on your thoughts, then you can watch your thoughts. Watch your thoughts like you watch TV, and you can watch them and observe what thoughts are coming to the surface. Ooh, that's not a thought that I want to think. That's a distraction. Let me push it to the side. You know what I mean? That's why you practice concentration, because in the ways that I teach it in the Keys to Success course, you have an object of your concentration where you hold your attention. Anytime you get distracted, you acknowledge the distraction, remove your attention from the distraction, place your attention back on the object of your concentration. You know what I mean? And so you're practicing removing your attention on what you don't want and placing your attention on what you do want. And then the same thing when you're observing your thoughts. And when you come across a thought that is not in alignment with what you want, that is out of harmony with what you're desiring, that is a distraction. Any disbelief is a distraction. So remove your attention from that and place your attention on what you do want, on the thought that you do want to think. Now, for some people, the difficulty in that is going to be, well, what kind of thought do I need to think for this ailment that I'm experiencing? And that's why I love this other book, Permanent Healing by Dr. Daniel Condron, because it incorporates the quantum mechanics of healing. You know what I mean? And it's a whole glossary of all these different ailments, and not only the thought cause behind the ailment, but also the way to use your mind to create a remedy. These suggestions for healing. Here's an example of one common one. And I share this with people all the time. I know it to be true because I used to have extreme anxiety, and I have permanently healed myself of that. I haven't experienced anxiety anywhere near the form that I used to, and hardly even at all, ever in the last decade. The thought cause is scattered attention. You know what I mean? When you're experiencing anxiety, this. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Oh man, what if this goes on? I mean, you're playing the what if game the wrong way. Your attention's being scattered back and forth. Why do you think anxiety is so prevalent in our society? Because, especially with the younger kids, because they've grown up. Like when, I'm almost 40 years old. So when I was a kid, it was already bad enough. You know what I mean? You had TV, you know what I mean? You barely get into the show, and then it's commercial, back to the show, back to commercial, back to the show, commercial, a new show. You know what I mean? But now it's even worse because you know, not just all of us, but even kids are growing up with video, just scrolling away. And the videos are getting shorter and shorter. You know what I mean? And it's just scattered attention, bing, bing, bing. And so it's programming your mind to find somewhere to go, to have somewhere to go, to keep on moving around, to not be able to hold the attention, to have no control over the attention. Thus, anxiety is almost a pandemic of itself. But how do you remedy that? The book says, give your full attention to everyone you meet and those in your environment. Love and care enough about everything you do and everyone's life you touch to give your whole mind and attention. And so that's the remedy given in the book. But essentially, what you need to do is bring your full attention to the present moment. And so how do we experience life? Through all of our senses. If it wasn't for our sight, taste, touch, smell, and audio, we would have no way of experiencing this physical reality. So bring your attention to what are you seeing right now? Not just what you're looking at directly, but use your peripherals. What are you smelling? Some people are like, I can't really smell. That's because you have no practice of putting your attention on the smell. So start practicing every single day, 10, 15 times a day. Practice smelling. Go up to a flower and smell the flower. Go up to a candle and smell the candle. Open up your water bottle and smell the water. Does the water have a smell? Yes, it does. Practice, practice, practice. What are you hearing? Can you put enough attention on the audio to be able to hear your body's vibration? What are you tasting? What are you feeling? Feel the air on your skin. Feel the clothes on your skin. I feel the hair brushing my cheek. What are you feeling internally? Feel your lungs filling with air. Feel them stretching to the max as you fill them to capacity. Feel the coolness in your nasal as you take a sharp, quick breath. Feel your hands. Feel your feet. Feel the muscles in your legs. Tense them and relax them. Feel your bones. Feel your brain. Put your attention on your brain and feel your brain. Oftentimes, that's all you really need because energy flows where the attention goes. Where is your ailment? Practice 10. Man, tell me what this does for you, okay? We aren't even going to get into changing the thoughts or anything, but just practice this for 90 days. Where is the ailment within your body? Practice for 10 minutes a day for 90 days and do this every single day and put your attention on that body part. You have arthritis in your hands? Then spend 10 minutes a day putting all of your attention on the joints within your hands. And just spend 10 minutes doing that. If you become distracted, you become distracted. Acknowledge that you're distracted and bring your attention back. No matter how good you are, you're going to get better over the 90 days. But just practice, 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 and keep a journal. Document this. Be a scientist. You know what I mean? Conduct your own research. Collect your own data. Examine your own findings. You know what I mean? And do it for 90 days. Write down the date, the time. Write down the weather. Write down what you're feeling beforehand. And write down your thoughts beforehand, your state of mind, your emotional state. You know what I mean? Write down the environment that you're in. And then after you're done, write down how you're feeling. Write down the experience you had. Write down the effects that you experienced. Whether you may think that, whether you know that you experienced it or you think it may be there or not, write that down. You know what I mean? I know that this happened. I feel like this happened. And I believe that this may have. I mean, write down your mental state afterwards. Write down your thoughts afterwards. and do that. Practice that. Practice that alone. But back to the anxiety and using your senses to bring yourself fully to the present moment. Because anxiety is all about attention, too much attention into the future. You're using your imagination the wrong way. The imagination is all about the future. The memory is all about the past. You know what I mean? The attention is all about the present moment. Those are the three keys to reasoning. Reasoning is the power of the conscious mind. I lay it all out. I'm telling you, I lay it all out in the structure of mind. You need to get that book. It's in the description below. You're dwelling too much into the future if you're experiencing anxiety. What if this? What if this? What if this? You're playing the what if game the wrong way. You need to play it the other way. What if this happens? What if I get this promotion? What if I get this investor into this business? What if I heal every single thing in my body? What if I feel younger than I ever have before? What if I lose all this weight? What if I gain all this? What if I get in shape? I mean, what if I live to 140? And so use your attention to bring yourself to the present moment. By doing that, by anchoring yourself into all of the senses, then you're removing your attention from the future and coming back to the present moment, and the anxiety will alleviate. Now, that is one way to remove the present moment experience of anxiety. And if you do it over and over, slowly, the anxiety will go away. But you also need to gain control over your attention. That is how you will permanently cause it to go away. But what's another one? What's another? Digestive disorders. That's one that a lot of people experience. Let's see what that is. Here we go. Digestive system. I don't even need to read most of these because I already know them so well. Refusal to embrace situations occurring in life. Difficulty in using experiences of life to gain knowledge of self. Thinking life is difficult. That is the thought cause behind digestive disorders. What is the remedy? Ask yourself this question 10 times each day. What did I learn from the experience I just had? This learning entails adding to your personality productively. It means you use each experience to improve yourself and make yourself a better person. What did you learn? The main reason that I understand a lot of these things so well is through the universal language of the mind, which is the language that dreams are decoded in. And so in the universal language of the mind, food represents knowledge, the knowledge of what you learn from the life lessons that you have available in life. Because our physical body, our teeth chew the food and break down the food for us to make it easier for us to swallow and digest the food. Once it gets into the digestive system, it's further broken down, and the nutrients and parts of the food and drink that our body can utilize and use are extracted and incorporated and become a permanent part of the physical body. It becomes the lungs, the tissue, the muscles, the bones, and then the fluids. And then the rest is waste. It's toxic. If we hold on to it, it'll become septic to the system. It will get sick. So we then need to eliminate it. It goes into the eliminatory system to get excreted. And the waste is let go. You know what I mean? The same with life and our life experiences. We need to learn how to break down our life experiences. That way it's easier to swallow what's happened. It's easier to digest it, what's happened. It's in our language. You know what I mean? Man, that's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? It's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I mean? We have to break it down first. That way we can identify the life lessons. Then we can better approach those life lessons and actually learn something and gain more knowledge. What did I say was the key to changing a belief into knowing? Experience. You know what I mean? So when we break down those experiences, then we can absorb the knowledge. And the knowledge becomes a permanent part of our soul that carries on with us through the rest of this lifetime and on into future lifetimes. That's why some souls come in with a source of knowledge that they've gained from previous lifetimes. That's what makes us all so different. You know what I mean? We all come on an equal playing field, but we all don't come in on the same level. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's it for a different video. With this, once we then do that, then it's easier to let go of the actual experience. So the digestive system is all about breaking down what we experience and identifying what we can learn, extracting the learning and letting go of the rest. That's the main thing with those digestive issues, is letting go of the toxicness. You know what I mean? If I have an argument with my best friend and we have a falling out and never talk to each other again, oh my God, that's life changing. You know what I mean? But if I can then break down the experience and was like, you know what? I was so caught up on how I felt I was being done wrong or how I was being disrespected. I didn't really give into his perspective and I was just being stubborn. I need to learn how to be more receptive. I need to learn how to be more empathic and empathetic. I mean, I need to learn how to change my perspective and see things from someone else's viewpoint. I mean, Oh, you know what? I can see how he also felt disrespected first and then reflected that back to me. Okay. And then as I start to learn, then maybe I don't have that relationship anymore. Maybe I do. But because of what happened in that experience, I ultimately become more patient, more receptive, you know, more empathic and empathetic to others. I have a greater ability to shift my perspective and perceive things from different angles. And all of that is due to that falling out that I had with the one friend. And so now I'm grateful for that falling out. Even if me and that friend never talk anymore, I'm so thankful and grateful to them that we had that falling out, that they initiated this argument, or maybe I did and they carried it on. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful for that moment because it caused me to become greater in these different ways. And because of then that I'm now grateful for that, I can then let go of all of the, emotions and thoughts that were tied on to holding on to it. You know what I mean? And then that's where letting that go, letting that shit go, you can let the shit go out of your digestive system. You know what I mean? And so that's how you do that. Let's do another one. Heart issues. Heart issues are very huge for a lot of people. I think some sort of cardiovascular related things are the number one cause of death in America. The heart, misuse or misunderstanding of responsibility, trying to compete with others in life when they have desires different from your own, pretending to be content in an area but actually discontent due to not being where one aspires to be or where one thinks one should be, need to give freely without condition. That is the thought cause behind heart issues. The remedy: display the self in a way that is honest to the self. Don't worry about whether your neighbor has a bigger house or a fancier house than you do. That is not what is important. What is important is that you decide what you want, even if that is different from what everyone else wants. Live your life, not someone else's life. When you read that, you understand how heart issues are the number one concern in America because we're always being fed. This is the American dream. This is the life you should be living. Look how this person's living their life. Look how this person's living their life. Look on TV. Watch these people live their life instead of being concerned with your life. What's at the heart of the issue? What's at the heart and center of your focus within your life and your purpose for your life? You know what I mean? You need to find your purpose. What are you in love with doing in life? You know what I mean? Too many of us are trying to double our income for a job that's going to completely take us away from having a life instead of taking a pay cut, maybe making $20,000, $30,000 less and doing something that we love. Doing something that you enjoy, having the time available to spend with your loved ones and your family and your friends and yourself. And so, I mean, this book has hundreds of others, you know, uh, underweight, overweight, uterus, prostate, polio, halitosis, hands, earache, dyslexia, colds, colic, condemnation, bipolar, bigotry, revenge, rheumatism, all type of things. It has the whole entire spine and every single vertebrae. Every single vertebrae has a whole different thought all on its own. So lower back pain, that's huge for people. But anyways, these are ways where we can use our mind and change our thoughts to alleviate any ailment that we are experiencing and make ourselves more whole. Wholeness, healing, and whole. But another thing that I want to talk about is through a quantum healing frequency machine that I use, Spooky 2. I mean, I could talk about all type of different stories. The very biggest one is I tore my Achilles playing soccer. I was playing soccer and my Achilles snapped. Completely snapped. Like it was, man, I heard it pop. I couldn't even walk on that leg at all. Like if my knee even if my knee even came close to being over top of my ankle, it felt like I tore it all over again. I mean, I, I instantly called up my friend Barry because he's the one who introduced me to these Spooky 2 machines, these quantum frequency healing machines. The Spooky 2 is the technology by Royal Rife wave frequency machines. And Royal Rife was good friends with Nikola Tesla. It's the same type of technology. It's called Spooky 2 because when they showed that technology to Einstein, that's what he said. He said, "Ooh, spooky," because it's quantum quantum healing. It's done through the quantum realm. I can put a piece of my DNA inside of the machine, and I can be across the city, the state, the world, and it will still have an effect on me. But anyways, I call up my friend Barry because he's one guy. I'm like, man, I need the machine because I can't walk. And I just was like hobbling, barely made it into his apartment, or barely made it into his home. Sit down with the machine, spend like maybe an hour and a half there, and I can walk out just fine. I mean, I'm limping, but now I can walk an hour and a half later. I mean, this Achilles tear, some professionals, it ends their career. I mean, but it's at least a season-ending injury because it's going to take you 6 to 8 months just to be able to run again. Man, I was back out playing soccer in 6 weeks. 6 weeks later, a month and a half later, I'm back out running and play. People sitting there looking like, bro, what happened? Like, you should not be here. Like, there's no way you're here. Like, I heard your tendon pop and disconnect. Like, how are you here? But it was the machine. It was another time I had an ankle, tore ligament in my ankle, playing soccer again. Tore ligament in my ankle. I mean, it was bruised up and everything. I was back a week later. They said the same thing. Bro, how are you here, man? I watched you couldn't even walk off the field. We had to carry you off. How are you back here 1 week later playing again? Like nothing's happened. Like you weren't even hobbling, you weren't even hurt, you weren't even slowed down. But it was because I had that frequency going all week long. Because the way it works is, everything in the physical reality is made up of frequencies and vibrations. And so every part of your body is resonating at a frequency. There's a frequency for that body part when it's whole and healthy, and there's a frequency when it's not. And so if there's a frequency of an illness or an ailment, then what the machine does is it continues to send this frequency over and over. Your body naturally heals. You know what I mean? Every part of our body naturally heals. If I cut my finger today, is that cut still going to be wide open? 2 months from now, 2 weeks from now? You know what I mean? No, it's going to heal up. It may leave a scar, but it's healed. The body naturally heals. So the body's naturally going to want to move into a frequency up here. Now, I mean, like, as far as like other things that, continual ailments, that's because we continue to feed into, whether maybe it's something we're thinking or a way we're thinking or a certain emotional state that we continue to place ourselves in, or maybe it's something that we continue to eat or absorb within our body, internally or externally, that continues to perpetuate that ailment. But the body is still trying to heal. Even then, it's still trying to heal. And so even though the body is going to naturally want to make its way back up to that resonance and frequency of healing and wholeness, the frequency machine is going to continue to send this frequency up here to influence and cause that healing to be more rapid. I mean, like I said, I mean, it still took 6 weeks for that tendon to heal. And actually, I kind of waited an extra 2 weeks. So it was probably like 4 weeks, but I just wanted to make sure to play it safe. So I waited another 2 weeks. But I mean, it was still going to heal. It was going to take 6 to 12 months. I mean, but this just made it more rapid. The ankle was going to heal. It was just going to take 3-4 weeks, but it was more rapid. Only took 1. And so there's a link in the description for any of those machines that you have. I have a couple of those machines. I'm still looking to get a couple others. Like the plasma machine. The plasma machine is the one that I used for when I went over to my friend's house. I put the plasma machine in my lap and just sat there. We sat there talking, just hanging, chilling, watching. I think it was like a NBA playoffs. This is like 3-4 years ago. Yeah, like 4 years ago, 2020. Yeah, was it 2020? Yeah, it was. I was lost for a second because of all the stuff I was doing during the summer, but I forgot because my leg healed so fast. But anyways, I just wanted to make this video to at least allow you to be open to the understanding that your thoughts are creating your reality and finding ways where you can create a shift in your life and have more conscious control and awareness of what you produce for yourself and who you become and the physical body that you encapsulate and the quality of that physical body. So I hope this helps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love to hear them. And as always, I leave you in peace.